Money here, Big 550 KTRS. Our next guests, Tom McBride and Ron Niff. They are the authors of a new book called The Mindset List of the Obscure. 74 famously forgotten American icons from A to Z. Tom and Ron, welcome to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Thank you very much for having us.
Talk about what is the idea of the book?
The idea of the book is that there are 74 famously forgotten American icons in this book that your grandchildren will never know about unless they read this book. These are the icons that were part and parcel of grandparents today when they were growing up. And the reason I think people should read this book, grandparents should read it because it's a great, great, great trip down memory lane. These are the aging boomers. And the younger generation should read it so that they know that their grandparents were edgy once upon a time too.
So it isn't like at one point we used to call someone and there was a busy signal, right? Or is it?
Yeah, well, I think that, we have so many of those experiences with the, we put out the mindset list every year about first-year students going into college, what their worldview is, and so often we think about the fact that it's really too bad they don't know some of these things that they haven't experienced. So that's why we did the book and decided that The Crime of the Century and Dragnet and Queen for a Day and Arthur Godfrey were all things they should know more about.
Yeah, I love the idea. The book is called The Mindset List of the Obscure. Tom McBride and Ron Niff. Why only 74? It seems like there should probably be a lot more.
Well, we have to, of course, have some room for son of the Mindset List of the Obscure, and to be more politically correct, daughter of the Mindset List of the Obscure. So I think that there are probably enough famously forgotten icons from the 50s, 60s, early 70s, so that we could probably do several volumes. Number of people who've read the book have said, well, you left out 77 Sunset Strip. You left out onion skin typing paper. You left out this, you left out that. Well, it's true we left those things out, but we have to have room for a sequel.
Certainly understandable. Do you have
Return of the Jedi, Return of the Obscure.
Do you have a personal favorite, either one of you?
My personal favorite has got to be Queen for a Day. I grew up with Queen for a Day. When I was 8 years old, I learned that I had emotional intelligence by watching Queen for a Day because there were these 5 women on every afternoon from Los Angeles, and they all had hard luck stories, but 4 of them wanted an extra maid. The 5th one, on the other hand, had just lost her son to tuberculosis. Her husband was disabled. She was about to be thrown out of her cold water flat, and she was always the one who won. She was Queen for a Day. She got a crown. She got furs from Nordis of Dallas. She got all of her problems taken care of. She got gleaming new appliances. And I was 8 years old, and I thought, yeah, I knew she was going to win. So yeah, that's my favorite, Queen for a Day.
I guess mine is the dum-de-dum-dum Dragnet with Joe Friday, who never sent anything to the lab. He never brought in the forensics unit. It was just gumshoe investigation and intelligence, and he solved everything.
I'm looking on the list, and the one thing that I really only know of right now is the 8-track. I'm looking at some of the other ones: Singing Telegram, Rabbit Ears, Collect Calls.
Collect calls.
Yeah.
Well,
But I mean, where does it stop? Does it stop in the 50s, or do you go to the 70s, or where does it end?
I don't think it goes, much past about 1963, 64, 65. The last item, the Zapruder film, which was, of course, the horrific film of the JFK assassination, that was in 1963. I think that's just about as far as we go. There was one item that I think actually happened in 1965 that got cut from the book, so I'll mention it here. In the old Perry Mason series, there was, of course, the DA, Hamilton Berger, who lost every case to Perry, and that was placed by William Tallman. Well, William Tallman was a chain smoker, And in 1965, he made a public service announcement announcing that he had lung cancer and encouraging young people not to smoke. And he began by saying, I've lost a lot of cases to Perry Mason, and now I'm about to lose the biggest case of all. I'm about to lose my life. That one got cut. We're going to try to get it in the, Return of the Jedi, Return of the Obscure. That was 65, but I think almost all of them were 50s.
Okay, so
Some of them get picked up and repeated. Dragnet, others, they didn't work when they tried to do them again in the 70s or 80s.
Right. So Dragnet and Queen for a Day, while they're your favorites, I wouldn't call them necessarily edgy for their day, would you? I mean, and what would you consider hip and cool then that people laugh at now?
Oh, I think slide rules. They were a sex symbol once upon a time. I mean, if a woman in college saw that, the guy in geography class had horn-rimmed glasses and a slide rule, he was a really great prospect. And slide rules. You didn't just push in numbers. You actually had to know how to use one. So it's low tech, but I think it's really kind of edgy. And also, I think take for example, Donald Trump firing people on TV, edgy, right? Happened in 1953. When your grandfather was 8 years old, Arthur Godfrey fired his most popular singer, Julius LaRosa, live on TV. That's really edgy stuff. Vanna White, she would appear to be the most one-dimensional star in the history of television. Not so. Beulah the Buzzer was the most edgy one-dimensional star in the history of television. Beulah the Buzzer was the buzzer on an early Bob Barker quiz show called Truth or Consequences. So, hey, this stuff was edgy for its day, and it's so bizarre looking back on now. It's even edgier now.
I would say that Tom McBride and Ron Neef, the authors of the book The Mindset List of the Obscure, 74 Famously Forgotten American Icons from A to Z. If I were king, I would force every single American and every single child to watch Abbott and Costello.
I would agree. In fact, I think that if they don't watch Abbott and Costello, their lives are going to be ruined from now on.
They might as well just join a terrorist group because they do not understand what America really is. If you do not know Abbott and Costello, there's something wrong with you.
Well, and you talk about edginess and how things have changed. One of my favorites in here is the crime of the century, which goes back to the Lindbergh baby kidnapping in 1932,
Right.
and perhaps the Kennedy assassination. Now, with Nancy Grace, you have a crime of the century every week.
Right.
That's right.
It's just a lot more information, a lot more material, but crime of the century has sort of lost its edginess.
Talk about edgy. At that Lindbergh baby trial, they sold toy ladders
They did.
outside of the courthouse.
They did. They did. In fact, H.L. Mencken, the great American columnist and lexicographer, called the Lindbergh kidnapping the greatest story since the resurrection.
Unbelievable. The book is The Mindset List of the Obscure, 74 Famously Forgotten American Icons from A to Z. I would tell you to go buy it at a bookstore, but that is a forgotten icon from American history. So go.
Yeah, it'll be available everywhere that respectable books are sold next Tuesday, and especially on that 6-letter place that starts with an A and ends in an N.
There you go, Amazon.com. Tom McBride and Ron Neef. The book is The Mindset List of the Obscure, 74 Famously Forgotten American Icons from A to Z. Gentlemen, have a good day. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You got it. 8